Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
It is single best idea, and with the news flow, it has just been extraordinary. There's no other way to put it. We tried to put together today, and I think we succeeded with a really eclectic group of guests, but also guests that have been very busy. Adam Posen joined us from the Peterson Institute. It was just brilliant. We've spent literally weeks trying to tie down Leland Miller. He's the China Beige Book. This is a guy out of Darden at UVA who constructed the granularity of the Chinese economy. And from that is expert on trade. Leland Miller has gone back and forth with certain parties within the new Trump administration, not advising them that's inaccurate, but, mentioning to them as they call upon him on Chinese dynamics. Leland Miller here of China Beige Book on the new trade war.
We're entering trade war time, obviously. There's tariffs coming from every direction. And I think it's important to separate what's happening with China from what's happening with the rest of the world, because I think there's a different discussion around economic imbalances in China, which are not even the focus of the current tariffs. So, there's a Mexico-Canada strategy that they're working on. There's a broader world strategy in terms of restructuring economic relationships and figuring out lessening the trade surplus. And then there's China. And I think the China discussion is the one that we've yet to have. And it's going to go to several different directions, whether it's Trump going to China at first, trying to get a trade deal, and then going another direction. We don't know yet, but that's the one that's to come.
Leland Miller, in that conversation, he made clear he still looks at China GDP as a manufactured 5%. He was not optimistic about clarity on economic growth in China. We talked about the non-bilateral realities and that everyone, not just the administration, loves to talk about the simplicity of bilateral dynamics in a multilateral world. Miller's expert on that. But here on the timeline, from the Trump 1 to Trump 2 administrations, Leland Miller.
The first term, it's correct. It was very different in a lot of ways than this Trump second term, in that Trump was constantly looking for victories. He renegotiated NAFTA, he renegotiated KORUS, he negotiated a trade deal with China. These were victories. He was using tariffs for the most part as negotiating leverage towards an outcome. The goal in the second term is very different, and markets have refused to believe this. They've maybe they do now with the market doing what it's doing, but the Trump administration and the president himself wants to restructure economic relationships in a lasting way. He wants to shift the whole paradigm, and so set up a wall around the United States, cut taxes for domestic manufacturers, and incentivize industries to come home. And so because of this, there is much more of an intention to go at all these different blocs and countries and go after trade surplus countries and try to right the economic relationship and bring some of these industries back home. So the idea is much bigger than Trump term 1. This is something they want to leave a legacy on in terms of just redefining the way America does business around the world.
Leland Miller of China Beige Book. On your morning commute across the nation, across Canada, we say good morning on Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM as well. On YouTube, what a great experience. Subscribe to Bloomberg Podcasts. We're humbled by the growth internationally each and every day. And here on YouTube Podcasts, it's single best idea.